And Ron Jaworski going to sit down with us right now. Jaws on with Joe Giglio and Hunter Brody. Broads, Jaws, how are you today?
Joe, Hunter, great to be with you guys. I am doing absolutely sensational. What a great day we have for my 41st annual Jaws Celebrity Golf Classic. I can still remember the first ones when we had guys like Johnny Unitas and Tom Brady out here playing golf. Now the cast of characters changed, but the result is always the same, sold out.
Well, that's what's important. So before we get into some football stuff, Jaws, tell us about why this is so important to you and really what this is all for today.
Well, it's for the kids. I have my own foundation, Jaws Youth Playbook, which is for at-risk youth in our community. And we build ball fields, playgrounds, nutritious foods we give to kids in schools. We have a bike drive. We're going to get probably close to $10 million after this event that we've raised in that 41 years.
Wow.
And my wife and I and our Jaws Youth Playbook group, they're committed to the young people. And I remember growing up, I was fortunate enough. I had nourishment. I had a good mom and dad. They took good care of me. But I saw other people that didn't have the things that I had. And I've been very fortunate to be an NFL player for 17 years, to work at ESPN for 28 years, to now own some golf courses. And I get my friends. I got a lot of friends, which is really good because you need friends. And the sports teams, not only the Eagles, but sports teams in this community. I just walked off the golf course. John Crooks out there. He's got a bad cold and a bad back. He's going to ball about 280 down the middle. But you see the guys, Ike Reese, you could bust Ike a little later when you get a chance.
Oh, we will.
Ike's hitting it really good. Of course, he plays Riverwinds more than I do. So he's here all the time. But it's good to see, all the other athletes in this town come together for this. It's just a great feeling. You saw, Reed Blankenship and Cooper DeJean. They're out there smacking that ball around. Those young guys can tattoo the ball.
Oh, I'm sure they can.
So it's great to see the young guys. And, they learn from an example like I set. Mike Quick has a golf tournament every year. A lot of guys have it. It's about giving back. When the young players see that, Brandon Graham will be here teeing off at 1 o'clock. Brandon says it himself. He's been coming to this tournament. I think all 15 years he's been an Eagle. And he always talks about, hey, I see what Jaws did. It kind of gave me some momentum and drive to want to help other people. So that means a lot to me. When the other guys say, hey, Jaws, you set the tempo, I feel good about that. My wife feels good about it. My family feels good about it. So we're just carrying on the legacy.
Jaws, so you're talking about a lot of the Eagles on the course, right? Reed and Cooper. What's your thought on this team coming off the Super Bowl and the expectation for this year? They're still one of the favorites. They should still be a great team. They lost a lot on defense, though. What's your expectation, Jaws, for how great they could still be on defense, even though they lost Josh Sweat, they lost Milton Williams, they lost Darius Slay, they lost a good portion of one of the best defenses we've ever seen. Do you still expect excellence, or is it going to be a challenge for Vic to get them back to that level?
To me, it's about who you didn't lose. How about Vic Fangio? You start right there. Vic's out there playing golf around. Awesome guy. I've known Vic for 40 years, and he's a coach with the Stars here in town. Vic is one of the best coaches in NFL history. The guy has always been successful as the defense coordinator. He is top-notch. We weren't talking about this defense last year, in the preseason. Oh, our defense is mediocre, bottom half. It's coaching and players that accept coaching. Vic Fangio turned that defense around last year. You give him talent this year, he'll turn this defense around really quick. I know we lost 5 guys, but when you got a Vic Fangio and you see what he can do, that means a lot. The players bought in his program. They drafted 2 solid players in the first round and second round. So you got guys to build on younger players.
Now, how about the other side with Kevin Patullo? Inexperienced in this specific role, but obviously been around Nick Sirianni for quite some time, his right-hand man. What are your expectations for him heading into this season?
Very good, very strong. And I always start, and I'll tell you a story. After the Super Bowl victory over the Chiefs, everyone's talking about, Jalen obviously had a great game. Defense played great. I went and looked at the tape the next day, and it was so obvious to me. And I'm a tape wonk. The tape tells me how we played and how players play. The score doesn't always indicate that. This score indicated, when I looked at the tape, the offensive line and defensive line kicked ass. That's where they won the game. So we can talk about the quarterbacks, the secondary, the blitzers, and all that. If you don't have an offensive defensive line, it's hard to win this league. This offensive line, here's what I've always loved, what I've loved about Howie Roseman. He always wanted big hogs up front. And he's always drafted guys. People say, why draft an offensive lineman? Why draft an offensive lineman? Well, we know why. This team dominated the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. We won the game because we owned the line of scrimmage. Now I'll get back to Jalen. Jalen played tremendous. This team can do whatever they want on offense. Tremendous wide receivers, a great tight end in Dallas Goedert. Glad to see him sign. And Saquon Barkley is a guy that makes it all happen. Jalen's phenomenal. He can beat you with the run, beat you with the pass, and beat you with his mind now. He had a phenomenal Super Bowl, deservedly the MVP of the game. But Saquon Barkley was kind of the cherry on top of this Sunday. You know, I mean, he was the guy that made it all work. Cause I believe in balance. I'm a Dick Vermeil guy. You got to run the ball and you got to throw the ball. You get one-dimensional, it's hard to be consistent. So I love the way this team is built offensively.
You mentioned Saquon, all-time year. I mean, one of the greatest years we've ever seen from a running back. Do you expect him to be able to do it again? NFL history says you have that many touches. The next year, it's hard to replicate it. But then there are those special backs, and you've seen a lot of them, Jaws, that they can have a run of a few years where they do it like he did it last year. Do you think he can do it again close to that level?
If he stays healthy. I think without a doubt, he can do it again. He's healthy. Right now, the offensive line is going to be great. It's the same cast of characters.
Right.
I expect the offense to be tremendous, even better than it was last year. But injuries are always part of the game. And remember, the Giants lost interest, not totally interested in, but they thought he got hurt a lot.
Yeah.
He was really banged up a lot with New York. But look at that offensive line he had. It was a bad offensive line, took a lot of hits and before he even got going. So he got hit in the backfield an awful lot when he was with the Giants. Here, he gets to dictate terms of engagement because he gets the line of scrimmage untouched. You know, now he can make his move, and he's a slashing type runner, and his lateral agility is second to none in the NFL. So if he stays healthy, I think he'll break the NFL rushing record. He would have broken it last year if we needed him to break it last year. We didn't because we iced things early, which is great. But he still is a phenomenal football back. And it's health when you talk about running backs.
Do you think the Commanders closed the gap significantly this offseason?
I actually think as I now start preparing for the season, I look at the other teams that Washington did, what Dallas is doing, what New York is doing. I think all three teams have gotten better in the offseason. I really do. So, and you look around the league, we got to play the NFC North.
Yes.
Oh, man, that's murderer's row.
And the AFC West.
And the AFC West. So the schedule is vicious. It's going to be a hard schedule. You know, you win 12 games that schedule, it's going to be a hell of a feat. So the schedule, the improvement of the other teams, you know, eventually you keep thinking, Washington's got to improve, right? They can't keep screwing this up every single year like they did on Dan Snyder. So they finally got some leadership in the front office. They got a quarterback that's going to be a phenomenal player and a real challenge for everybody. I like Dart up in New York. He's a guy that I'd like for the draft. So, and they got the best defensive player in the draft, maybe the best overall player in the draft. The Giants did. So they're going to be better. And Dallas, you know, you look at their roster, they got a good roster. But you know, they lost their quarterback last year, and you're not going to overcome that.
Well, you're not. And the division was down last year, aside from the top two, so maybe a little bit where it's all better, you know, from top to bottom. Jaws, we appreciate you hopping in with us and having us out here. Love being out here. 41st. You should be proud of that.
41. Oh, I'm very. It's hard to do this thing like 5 times.
Yeah, of course.
It's gained momentum, and
yeah.
I couldn't be happier with, you know, Live Casinos, our presenting sponsor. We got great people. Everyone had a ball last night. But I can't thank the celebrities that come. Rich Gannon's here, 2-time NFL MVP. You know, Dick Vermeil's been he can't play golf, but he walks around here, drives a golf cart, shakes hands with everybody. Everybody chips in. Mike Quick, Harold Carmichael, got all these guys out there having fun. And I can't do without support from the community. I can't do without support from the sponsors. I'll set the tempo, but I need help. I'm a quarterback, but I need good wide receivers and good offensive line, and we'll make it happen, and we are.
There we go, just like the Eagles. Ron Jaworski with us.